Beautiful. I think we're recording. All right. Hey there, guys. So I've got with me today my man Stu. Now, Stu joined the Underdogs online coaching almost 4 weeks ago and really has been one of the, if not the top achiever throughout. He's a leader within the crew, very engaged, has followed through and literally, I have a process, and it's a 1 to 5 process. I won't go through it now, but basically Stu's just ticked all the boxes. Like he just does the thing. Doesn't argue. Will ask questions as to why if he doesn't understand it, and then gets an explanation. As long as he understands it, then he follows through. And what I'm now going to do is allow Stu to just explain to you his experience, why it works, things that he's done in the past that didn't work, and what we changed within the group. And then if you're struggling right now, he's probably going to have the little pieces of gold within his story that'll give you some direction as to what to do next. So without further ado, Stu, my man, introduce yourself, give him a little rundown as to who you are, what you do. I'll leave it over to you.
Sure, mate. Thanks, Jack. So as Jack said, my name's Stu. I work in HR, so pretty sedentary job. Not much action going on there in terms of fitness. It's pretty lazy. But I've basically been training for, there must be 12 years with a mixture of weight. I spent some time in the Air Force, so I was in there for 11 years. So I was reasonably fit, and I've always been, sort of normally like fairly fit, fairly strong, just average, really. So I've tried a lot of programs. I've done the 5x5 strong lifts program. I've done other, things you find online, the sort of programs you get there.
Yeah.
I've gone to a PT before and sort of done that for a little while. I've done the 12-week challenge thing at other gyms, the Good Lifes and whatnot. And again, just been kind of average. Like I've sort of got to the top of average, but never really that good. In terms of my body weight, I've been trying to get bigger, I guess. I don't want to be I'm not talking like bodybuilding or anything like that. I've just tried to put on a little bit of weight, a little bit of size, because I've just been sitting, I'm pretty small, 64 kilo guy for pretty much since I was 18, and I'm now 34, and there's been no change. I've maybe put on 4 kilos in the, however many years that is now. And I found that although I was reasonably strong and reasonably fit, I didn't really have a direction apart from maybe putting on a little bit of weight. So when I found this Underdog challenge, I looked at what was listed on the list of things that they were looking to do. So looking to work in a team and build and support other people, willing to get support with your diet, and these are all sort of things that I've wanted to do, but never really had the right structure in which to do it. So what I've really found in the last nearly 4 weeks is a really good team. So even though it's a pretty small crew, there's 6 of the people, I think, or 7 maybe, of people that started when I did. And for the most part, we've really quite gelled, even though we haven't met each other.
Yeah.
But there's about four of us that have really engaged. Shout out to those guys. And I've found lots of support. And even though I haven't met them, even though I haven't seen them, just apart from on the online chats, you sort of feel like you've got to do it for them. Like you feel like you're letting other people down if you're not committing and not getting to the gym, if you're not following the habit tracker and you're not committing and doing all that stuff. So I personally feel that as much as I want to do it for me, I feel like I've got to do it for these guys as well. It's not just about myself. So yeah.
Yeah. When we first spoke, I remember you saying you've been helping people for most of your life. You've been like a leader within yourself. You've got all the traits. And then when you seem to play at your best when you have other people to not only push you, but you want to also get the best out of them. And the best way that we found to get the best out of them was to get the best out of yourself.
Yeah.
All right. And before joining the program, you touched on it just a second ago, very briefly. But what were you looking to accomplish before you got into the program? In terms of, I know you said you hadn't been able to put on weight really in the past 12 years. And what was the real sort of I need this? They seem to have something like this, and I want to try this out.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. I didn't have a strict goal of what I wanted to achieve. So if you want you want to be stronger and bigger, but you didn't have anything to measure it by.
Yeah, no
And
tangibles.
I really needed some help in sort of quantifying what those goals were exactly, and then what to do to achieve them. So it's about setting them first, and then what to do, how to actually get there. And that's what I was really missing.
So there was when we had the conversation over the phone originally, it was to get very clear with what you want. Otherwise, you sort of you get caught in this cycle of, as you said, just being good at a lot of things, but not playing above average in what's really most important to you. And one of them was the body weight side of things. Like you do a hell of a lot. Like people who don't know Stu, he trains. We prescribed it 4 days a week, but you get in like 5, maybe 6 days of weights training. You do zoo, you run, you're a father, so that'll keep you going for most bloody days. So he does so much, and because you have that standard of just to really get it done. And like I said before, when other people you want to do it for other people as well. The best way that you found it, and it's such an awesome trait as a leader, is to lead from the front, do, and then other people are like, fuck, I'm inspired by him, and they continue to try to like stand next to you and keep going with you. And that leads me on to the next one is, what did you tapped into this earlier, like what have you tried before, and what was the result?
So I've tried, like I said, I tried the programs like like I said, the 5x5 and a few other online things in a PT. Because they were so repetitive.
Yeah.
I got bored very, very quickly. Like I could do them for a couple of weeks or whatever, and then, or even a couple of months, and I'd find like what would often happen is I'd get into it for a couple of months, and then I'd either get sick or I'd just get sick of it, and then it would fall off, and I'd just sink back into a normal push-pull boring program. I'd just make something up on the time and on a bit of the merry-go-round as the habits sort of fade away. And I'd say in this one is a little bit different because I'm a bit more mindful, a bit more cognizant of the actual habits, and I think that sort of helped change them. Yeah,
we went very deep into habits. Within the Underdogs Challenge, I think it was me and you actually, we sort of together through conversation was like, fuck, we need to like look at habits like that. And we've placed it actually into week 1 of every new person that's coming in, is let's really look at your habits, find out what's working for you, what's not working for you. And then there it's all about just, the first sort of 28 days is you wouldn't expect to get the end goal. Like if someone ever says that to you, that's just not, it's not realistic. But what you can do is set a solid foundation. And one of the main things is what are your habits? What are your routines? And one thing that I wanted to ask you, because most guys will probably watch this go, I want to lose weight. But for the few who are sitting there like yourself, who are like, I don't need to lose weight, I need to gain weight. You said that you would only got about an extra 4 kilos in, what was it, like 11 years? Is that right?
I'm 34 and I've been doing that since 18. So.
Oh, okay. Yes, even longer. And within the last 28 days, you've actually put on weight and muscle at that. So what did you start at and where are you now?
So I was 64 and a half-ish, 64.5 kilos. I'm now, last time I checked yesterday, it was 66.8. So it's gone up. My weight sort of fluctuated. I hit 67.1 for a day and then dropped back down a bit. That could be water weight and all a bunch of other things. So I'm not, massively concerned, but it's still net up from where it was by about 2 kilos or 2 and a bit. And the other night, was it Sunday night or Monday night, I actually got one of my friends, PT, here to do the caliper test. And look, I don't know what my body fat was before we went into this, but it's now down to 10.55, and that's pretty good, I think. So.
Wow. And because you've got a goal of, when we spoke a little bit more about a future goal of was it 70 kilos in body weight, or was it around there?
Yeah, 70 is where I want to hit.
70 kilos, and you're well on your way. Like within 28 days, adding 0.5 or 500 grams basically of, chances are it's going to be, you know, more muscle than it is going to be body fat. You don't seem to like, you just don't hold body fat. You've got one, you know, those good genetics. So you can say that over the past sort of 28 days, you went from 18 to 34 and only put on 4 kilos. And then in the past 28 days, put on 2 kilos. And it's like, fuck, because all we know is we got clear with what you wanted. There's a design there that, you know, the training program that we give you is, it just works. I've used it for 6 years, and I said to you at the time, it just works. And then we looked at things like your nutrition. Big one was your habits around your food, like tracking your food, making sure you're in a calorie surplus. You kept yourself accountable, and the crew kept you accountable. We measured daily through our habit tracker. And then at the end of it, like coming to the 28 days, and it's now time to celebrate, which is the 5th step, because you actually fucking follow through, which is a mistake, which a lot of guys don't, is they don't follow through every day of every week of every month. They're like, and that's something that if anyone's sitting here right now listening to this and you've got this far, is that is a very big mistake, from the top 5 mistakes I find men make. And I've been there as well. I have a coach to keep myself accountable. We just don't follow through enough. We get, like I said, we get bored. We get bored after about a month or so of a program. We need variety. We need a new stimulus because we need to see the result. So since being on the program, apart from, you know, adding the 2 kilos, Stu, what else have you accomplished?
I'm definitely stronger now. Like I've seen just tracking the weights component, like, because we can measure that, and just every session, every week, I'm seeing, you know, hitting like 4 or 5 achievements, and it, you know, brings up that little notification when you finish the workout. I was like, oh yeah, that's good. And then, you know, it's awesome to be able to post that up and see the other guys doing it too.
Yeah,
that's really cool. I think I mentioned it to you earlier in the week that although at that time I hadn't taken any after photos, I felt bigger, or not. Yeah, I felt maybe a little bit bigger.
awesome.
Felt a little bit more confident, but definitely felt stronger. So yeah, I can definitely see the differences.
All ties in there, like I say, like feeling stronger. Like it's all well and good looking at a picture and going, fuck, I look bigger, but unless you feel it, like that's what you want. That's what we're going for. We're going for an emotional stimulus here too, because we're like, we want to feel more confident. We want to feel bigger. And I suppose the biggest one, like you mentioned before, what impact has this had, like the past 28 days, the team, the training, everything, the underdogs as a whole? What impact has it had on your like training, your mindset, even like lifestyle, you know, nutrition, just as a whole? What would you say is the biggest impact that it's had?
Well, probably covering a few of those things. So in terms of my nutrition, I'm totally aware of now pretty much everything I'm eating. Being very disciplined in recording everything. I'm not sticking to a strict diet or anything, but what I am eating, I'm recording, and I'm using that to say, oh, geez, the fat's starting to creep up a little bit today. Maybe that'll then adjust maybe what I have for dinner. Maybe I'll adjust the fat content in that. I might increase the carbs or the protein just to meet what's going on. And look, it doesn't take a lot of effort, really. Like anyone that says that it does, honestly, it's like a few seconds here and there just to chuck in what you've eaten. Especially once you've got a few meals on the go, you can save it. And in MyFitnessPal, and it takes no time. In terms of my mindset towards training, it got to a point where I would train because it was a routine, so it was a good habit. But I was just sort of doing it because you do it, like rather than really going, I can't wait to get to the gym to do this thing tonight, or in the morning, whatever it is. And also, it's not really even related to the challenge, but I set myself a secondary goal of running, and not just running, but enjoying it. So when we were doing that, the habit tracker week, of okay, I'm going to set myself, I'm going to run, and I'm not just going to run, I'm going to change the way I think about it, I'm going to enjoy it. And you can't always change how enjoyable something is, but you can at least change your attitude towards it. So, and by doing that, it makes it more interesting, it makes it more fun to do. And you, again, even though you might be getting towards the end of it going, oh my God, I think this sucks, but you still do it and you're getting the result. So those probably the 3 things. The nutrition is on on track, enjoying the training, and I'm enjoying running, which I wasn't before.
That's great, man. But like, guys, this is I'm just asking Stu these questions on the fly. Like, I spoke to him only literally 2 minutes before we got on the call. Like, these are the questions I'm going to ask you. Bang, let's go. So, and I'm learning, as we go along, and as I'm hearing Stu, that just like, fuck, like, it just cements that this program works. And you said before, this is what I love, because a lot of people, their diet fucking sucks because they're too strict. It's too structured. We have no flexibility. So before we wrap it up, can you just touch on the flexibility within the dieting? Like, you're not structured. I've given food guides and we've worked on MyFitnessPal. Not even like, and it doesn't take time, which you've already mentioned, but how does it feel knowing that you're not tied down to eating this amount of, this amount of steak every single day, the same foods every single day, that you have variety and just being like, I need to eat this as long as I hit my macros and I hit my calorie amount, I'm good.
Oh, totally. I've tried those before where, like, well, generally it's not me, it's my wife. We'll go like, oh, that's it. We're going to cut down on carbs. We're not going to have any of this crap. I'm like, I hate it. Like, I just want to eat the food. Like, I enjoy it. Whereas I can look at it and go, you know what? If I want to go have a 24 pack of nuggets on a Sunday tonight because I'm hungry, I'm gonna do it. But I know that I can't do that every single meal because it's gonna blow me out. So like, it's not science or anything with science. I mean, it's not rocket science. It's so easy. Like, I don't understand how people can get that bent out of shape about a diet if you just use a bit of common sense and like it does the thinking for you. It tells you what you should eat, and then you give us the calculations of the amount of protein per weight per kilogram, etc. So, I mean, that's pretty easy to plug in using a calculator. That's the only thing you got to do to set it up. But even then, it's pretty straightforward. And beyond that, as long as you're putting in your food pretty accurately,
yep.
Doesn't take a lot of thinking about.
No, it doesn't. And for everyone there, like, if you're still on this and you're watching and you struggle with your diet and you binge and you don't know how much you eat, you don't know what to eat, rewind back to when I first asked you that question and listen to it again and again and again, and just like truly understand how simple it is if you are shown how, like, and you are kept accountable, and it's just made so fucking simple. So one final question, Stu, because I know you just finished training, and I'm sure you want to get home. Who would you recommend this program to and why? Like, who would you like to see more of in this program? Because we don't select everyone, as you know, and not everyone deserves to be in there. And I want to know from you, and I don't even know this question, guys, like, who would you want in there and why? What sort of characters would you think would achieve and accomplish in there, in the underdogs?
Well, I can see it being who I'd really like to see in there, who I think I'd get along with, the people that want to be part of a team. They don't want to just be isolated and do things for themselves, because I don't want to work with those people, and well, clearly they don't want to work with me. Yep. So they're not going to help push me, and if I'm trying to push them, they're probably not going to be all that supportive of getting that support. Yep. So they're own sort of wolf sort of folk. That's not who I want to work with. People that can at the very least commit to doing the bare minimum. Like, if you can do the bare minimum, no more, that's okay. But I mean, if you're willing to take that extra step, that's who I really want to work with. Or who I could really see would get value out of it. They can follow a basic instruction. Yep. You need to do these 4 things to be successful. If you can do that, you're okay. Basically, if you can do those sort of things, those key things, I don't think it really matters, your background or your if you want to lose weight, put on weight. I think probably not that important. Like, maybe the workouts are pretty high intensity, so you're definitely going to shed a bit of fat. But if you're looking to put on muscle or lose fat, it's going to be successful. So
fantastic. And I think it comes down to the hashtag that we created, which was, we want people who are going to just not give excuses.
Yeah.
We're going to say fuck average, and you're just going to get it done. You're going to make it work. It's a change in lifestyle because you want the change. It's not going to always come easy to everyone. You just got to get it done. Those are the people like, so if you, and guys, we'll wrap it up here. If you are someone that's, again, still on this, you're listening, you're inspired, you want to take some action, and you would love to work with right next to someone like Stu and myself, then there's going to be a link at the bottom of this video for you to apply for our next intake on the 28-day challenge. Stu, thank you very much, man, for coming on the call tonight. Like it's late at night. I'm sure you've had a big day. And yeah, we'll wrap it up there. Stu, have you got anything else to say before we wrap up?
No, just I think I mentioned this to you earlier. I've really just enjoyed the ride. It's just been cool.
Fuck yeah, awesome. Well, thank you guys. Like I say, if you're interested in joining us, click the link below. And Stu, I will speak to you in the chat.
Thanks, man.
Awesome, bro. Catch ya.